welcome to Sky Sweaty Record Review, episode 133, the only first listen new music review show hosted by a French professor immediately after leaving the YMCA. So today I'm going to be reviewing an album called, what's it called? Oh, and now for the Watchamacallit by Psychedelic Porn Crumpets. Now, one second, let me just move over here. Obviously, you see behind me the record of the 13th Floor Elevators, who were a revolutionary psychedelic rock band from the 60s. Their lead singer, Rocky Erickson, died last week. Or this week, just a couple days ago. So, it makes sense. I'm going to be reviewing some psychedelic music that is the sort of spiritual and actual heir to the 13th Floor Elevators. But that's actually not why I even picked this band. Fans of the show will know that my involvement with YouTube really comes from a really young friend of mine who, is the son of a woman I used to date, but now we're just friends and we talk all the time. And I remember years ago, he told me, what kind of music do you like? And he's like, Eric Taxon. I'm like, that's gotta be bad. And then he said, Psychedelic Porn Crumpets. And I had to hide my contempt for how lame I knew this band was going to be. What did this high schooler know about some bad porn, crumpets, psychedelic? So I just dismissed them, not entirely, but mostly. But, part of this show, part of the sort of evangelical aim of this show is that if you have friends and your friends have opinions about music, listen to those friends. Take them seriously. You might discover Eric Taxon's really quite good. Or you might discover, as I discovered this week, Psychedelic Porn Crumpets are not a joke. Now, the thing about the band, why did I laugh at them? It's because of their name, okay? Psychedelic Porn Crumpets. Those are three things, two of which I have a very ambivalent relationship with, and the third is a thing I sometimes eat for breakfast. So, I was thinking about this name, and I realized I'm going to leave the porn part out of it. I'm sorry, folks. I'm not going to talk about porn. Oh, but stay tuned to the end, because I will tell you about the most oxymoronic advertisement I've ever seen while exercising at the gym. That's my attempt to keep you subscribing. Anyways, so Psychedelic Crumpets. That's what I was thinking about. And I realized psychedelic rock is a crumpet. Whoa. What do I mean by that? Have you ever had a crumpet? Most Americans haven't. They are delightful, okay? They're like English muffins, except spongier. They're like if English muffins and a sponge had a baby that was somehow more British than the English muffin. It's not concave. It's like puffy. It's like a little tasty hockey puck of bread with these little holes in it. And you put butter on there, and you put some jam on there, and it is some of the best breakfast eating you will ever have. Okay, so you asked me, do I like crumpets? The answer is yes. How often do I eat them? Not often. Hardly ever. They're on sale at Wegmans, my local, supermarket. I could just go down and get them, but I don't get them that often. I don't know why. And that's how I feel about psychedelic rock, about good psychedelic rock. I really enjoy usually it's guitar-based and has interesting rhythms and good drums and fun singing and it rocks and I can listen to it and I can pay attention to it and I really enjoy it, much like I enjoy the crumpet. But when it comes down to it, it's not something that I want all the time. But it's something I can appreciate in small... Oh, Jesus. This is not supposed to be a pun. Psychedelic music is something I can appreciate in small doses. That's my drug joke for all you druggies out there. Goddamn. Deadbeats. Contribute to society. So, I don't know. Maybe it's the relationship to drugs that's the reason that I don't always get into psychedelic rock. And maybe there's just something I'm missing because my mind is not expanded enough. I don't know. As far as this actual album goes, it's a very solid, excellent psychedelic rock album. It has basically two modes. One is first of all, it's amazing musicianship. The drummer's great, bass player's great. I think there's two guitars, maybe three guitars. They're excellent. Very, very tight. At the end of each song, you just go, ooh, wow, these guys play a lot together. It's maybe a little bit noodly for my tastes, not too many chords, but it doesn't go so far as to become like jam band. It does in places, but for the most part it doesn't. But it has basically two modes. The primary one is one in which the vocalist echoes exactly what the guitar is doing. It's kind of like Mickey Mousing, pairing exactly. I'll play an example from the second track. The first two tracks do this. It's almost like the first two tracks are seamless because they both do the same trick. So here's a little bit of Bill's Mandolin by Psychedelic Porn Crumpets. 1 second. Why is it so quiet? Okay, here we go. So if you hear, like, it echoes exactly, which, given the complexity of the guitar playing, is quite interesting. I mean, there's sort of another mode that I'm not going to play for you because for some reason my computer is like wicked quiet. I don't know what's going on there. Where just like they'll be playing and then they'll be sort of, the vocals will be soaring over. But for the most part, it's a very, okay, so if I like something, I say it's very consistent. And if I don't like it, I go, it's kind of samey. I would say it's both of those things. I mean, it's a very consistent album. Thematically, it feels like one unit of music, and it's quite good. And everything feels like it's in the same register. It's maybe not my favorite register. You know, I don't want to eat crumpets every day, but it's very solid. In general, you know, I couldn't really parse out any of the lyrics, which is, I don't know, it's sort of the style. For the most part, the vocals are very fuzzy. I don't know if Flaming Lips are the real godfathers of modern psychedelic rock, even more than the 13th Floor Elevators. I think they might be. But just everything's very fuzzy for the most part. You know, fuzzy guitars, fuzzy singing, fuzzy playing. There's one part in one song where it ends and there's just I think it's a strat. It's the guitar playing undistorted, and it's like, oh my god, an undistorted guitar. It really stuck out. You know, I'm tempted just to play a whole bunch of it. I mean, a lot of it's really nice, you know. There's this great song called Native Tongue, which has a great example of their musicality. I'll play a little bit of it here, just how intensely good they are. So it has like these multiple layers of guitar and kind of a offbeat drum rhythm, and like they layer over each other. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And listening to it's very enjoyable. Like you get in sort of a trance where you're sort of trying to pick up, and like you can follow one of the guitars, and then you follow the other guitar, and it's maybe going up, and then the drum's going, and it's constantly stutter stepping in that different rhythm, and then that dreamy singing. The Stamp, I'm not actually going to play it for you. I'm just going to suggest you listen to it. It's actually their instrumental song, Digital Hunger. It's just kind of a nice jazzy tune, and I'll put a link to it just to have a listen to it because it's quite good. So that's my review of Psychedelic Porn Crumpets. They are a good crumpet, a good example of the kind of music that for some reason I don't want all the time, but I'm very happy exists. And when I want that crumpet, when I want good psychedelic music, you know, Tame Impala or Flaming Lips or 13th Floor Elevators or Psychedelic Porn Crumpets, I'm really happy that it exists. I want to find that music sometimes and hear it. I promised you I'd tell you the most contradictory advertisement I've ever seen. It was an advertisement for a timeshare. If you don't know what a timeshare is where you pay somebody to not own a house. And you have the right to go visit that house, but you have no ownership of it. And the time that you actually get to stay there is usually determined by someone else higher up on the pyramid in the pyramid scheme. The name of the company was Timeshare Freedom. So that was funny to me. All right. I'm not sponsored by them. And I don't have a Patreon. But if I did, I'd put their names here. Would you be like, you know, like Gabe? Go down there. He's who introduced me to the band. All right. Until the next time, I am going to probably get a crumpet. Because talking about crumpets. Crumpets. Psychedelic. Porn? All right. There's the camera.